Good evening everyone. It is a great zechut to be here under the auspices of Chazak. The truth is, there is not a bigger Eloi Nishmat than to have a program under the auspices of Chazak. What they have done in our country, what they have done around the world, is to make a revolution. That revolution, I believe, is waking people up, inspiring people of all backgrounds, all Jewish backgrounds, and I do believe that it has the power to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu. So Chazak should continue Mechayel Ochoyel. Today, we come as a very great zechut, as a great merit for Rachamin ben Esther, Marusa bat Chevtzi. I take a look at the picture that is put up in the front, and I cannot tell you, when you see such eyes, you see eyes of emunah, you see such a beautiful face, like it talks about in the Gemara. We know that sometimes it is those that are the greatest, those that are the best, that are called to Hashem the earliest. And we understand that it's for us to learn, for us to make our lives fulfilled and inspired, to continue on, to give meaning. Shavei Chayim Lechol Chai. He left life for all the living. Sefer Atanya says, Shavei Chayim. He left for us more life, for our lives, to be good, to make a difference, to do mitzvot, to learn, to gather together, to remember Him, to remember His name, to remember His face. This is the reason why we are here. And it's interesting. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berdichev, great Rabbi, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, he had a son. He loved his son more than anything in the world. However, his son, he was niftar, 30 years old. 30 years old. They saw Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, and he was going behind the Aron at the Levayat, the funeral. And he's walking behind the Aron. All of a sudden, they see him begin to clap. And they listen to his voice. He's singing. And they cannot understand it. Levayah, his son, he's going into the Kfurah. And Rabbi Levi Yitzchak is singing and clapping. And then he begins to move his feet. They thought maybe it's too much for the great Rebbe. And they walk over to him and they say, Rebbe Levi Yitzchak, is your son. Lo Aleinu, V'al Beit Yisrael. And tonight is, Rebbe Levi Yitzchak said, Baruch Hashem, he had Arichat Yamim. He had long days. They said, Rebbe, he died 30 years old. Quarter, a tenth of his life, he died. How could it be that you say he had Arichat Yamim, that he had long days? Rabbi Levi Yitzchak said, no, I didn't say he had long years. I didn't say he lived till 120. He had long days. Every day meant something. Every day impacted. Every day he was kind. Every day he was nice. Every day it meant something in this world. Rachamin, we know right now, as we are all learning together, you looking up to us from Shamayim in Gan Eden, we look up to you and you look down upon us. Ask Hashem that everybody should have bracha v'atzlacha. Ask Hashem that your dear mama, your Abba, should have only good things in the future, that it should be the end of all, any type of a besura ra'ah, chas v'shalom, something that is not good, that they should have many simachot, and we will remember you forever and ever, and Be'ezrat Hashem, as it says, v'kitzu yiranenu shochnei afar, that in the future, we're all going to dance together, that we're going to take you, and we'll tell you what you meant to us, how much you mean to us, and we'll dance again together with Tchiat HaMeitim in the future. This evening, it was a choice to talk about living inspired. Everybody wants to be inspired. Everybody wants to be excited. to be uninspired is a life that does not have meaning. A person has to be inspired to think about our purpose in the world, why we are here, what we're doing, and how I can make a difference in this world. That is an inspiration. That is something that a person can show that they mean to live this life as Hashem wants us to live. I want to start off with a fascinating idea that it says in the Navi. There we learn, there was a great tzaddik, Nehemiah. Nehemiah tried as much as possible to help Klal Yisrael. They were down. It was galut. It was bad. All different things were happening. Nehemiah came and said, wait a minute. It's time to build up. It's time to be mechazek. It's time to strengthen. Time to inspire. And he went from place to place and inspired people. He had a very important mission. There was a person that was very high in the government. He was known as Daryavesh. Some say Karush, but his name was Daryavesh. And this Nehemiah was the Sara Mashkim. He was the one that was the butler for Daryavesh. Can you imagine Nehemiah, Navi, prophet, great man, and he is the bartender. He is the one that brings the drinks to Daryavesh. Everything happened good. Of course, he was loyal. Whatever a person does, they're always loyal. Whatever we try to do in this world, we try that we should do it in the correct way. However, one day something happened. Not every day is it a good day. Not every day is it a happy day. Not every day is a day filled of chizuk. Sometimes, I don't know if you go on the New York subway. You go on the New York subway, so you have to be very careful. By any chance, if you go on, and you might have chas v'sholem brush by a guy, and you hit just the edge of his coat with your coat. He'll, what's going on? Start up a whole major thing. You apologize, slicha adoni, I'm sorry, I'm a humble servant to you. And then b'chesed, maybe you hope that he leaves you alone. Now, that's what happens. That's what happens when a person enters a place where they're scared. Not every day is a great day. Not every day the stocks go up. Not every day I get a yes on the telephone. Not every day do I feel great. Not every day did my boss give me a good word. Sometimes he gave me the opposite. So there are a lot of times. Nehemiah comes in to serve the drink to Daryavesh. He came in to serve the drink. Serves a drink. What is it? All of a sudden, Daryavesh studies the face of Nehemiah, and he realizes that his face is downcast. Sometimes you look happy, sometimes you look sad. So Nehemiah came in, and he looked very sad. Daryavesh sees him, immediately he begins to get angry. He says to him, wait a minute, what's going on with you today? I see you have a zoef. I see that your face is upset. I see that you're downcast. Why are you doing this? Rashi HaKadosh tells us that what did he think? Because he came in with a face that was downcast, a face that was upset, you want to poison me. You're going to kill me. You're going to be mored b'malchus. You're going to rebel against me. You're giving me a poison drink. Is that what you're doing? I'll take your head off. Says to Nehemiah. Asked the Mefarshim. Unbelievable question. Commentaries ask the question. What's going on? Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe his wife was arguing with him. Maybe his wife didn't feel good. Maybe his son got into trouble. Maybe he had terrible stomach pains, lo aleinu. Why all of a sudden, when Daryavesh sees Nehemiah, he says, oh, you're going to kill me. Mored b'malchut. You want to rebel against me. Why did he say that? Very interesting. Actually, what was going on was something completely different. And we're going to find out in a second. But what we learn from here is that when a person is working for the king, when a person is the Beis HaMelech, you don't have a chance one day to be upset, one day to be happy, one day you're angry. Every day you come in with a smile on your face. You're working for the king. When you work for the king, You don't have a chance one day not to look right. You look wrong one day, he says, that's it, off with your head, take him to the guillotine. And so, we understand that even Nehemiah had to be every single day in the same way, had to come in with the same smile, had to come in with the same bow. Your Royal Highness, how can I help you today? What can I do to be of service to you? The one day that he came in with the upset face, he almost got killed for it. Killed! Because he didn't smile, because he didn't say, how are you? So we see an interesting thing, that a person always has to be b'simcha. But how could you be? We're normal. We're human. Sometimes it comes to tefillah, the beautiful Beit Eliyahu. What a beautiful shul. One of my favorites in the world. The feeling in the ruach here is something absolutely, absolutely special. So I come inside, right? And I come and I sit down and pray. Maybe that day I'm not in the mood of praying. Maybe that day I'm a little bit tired. So I say, man, wait a minute. I start to look in the Siddur. How many pages is it till the end? 220 extra pages for today's slichot. How am I going to make this thing? How am I going to be able to last it out? No! A person comes in to simcha. We're praying. I get a chance right now that I can ask for anything. I can ask Hashem for money. I can ask Hashem good health. I can ask Hashem smachot. I can ask Hashem marriage. Whatever I want, I can ask Hashem. I got to be happy. Could I be sad doing it? So what do we see? That really, even sometimes when you want to be a little bit upset, we don't. When you want to be upset, I got to remember, Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha. You got to serve Hashem with happiness and joy. So even during that time, I have to try and be mechazek myself. Now, one more interesting thing. One more very interesting thing. Take the moon for a minute. The moon, right? So we go out to bless the moon. Kiddush Levana, and when we go out to bless the moon, we say, Chok Uzman Natan B'hem. Thank you, Lior. Should be a lot of simachot. 2 kosot yain meshubach underneath the chuppah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh bidvaro. So what happens is that Hashem put the moon in the orbit. Hashem put the moon. Hashem put the sun, and they have a job that they have to do all the time. The moon is exact. It will start Rosh Chodesh, get bigger, bigger, bigger. Then all of a sudden, when it reaches full moon, in the middle of the month, it will get smaller. Every month happens exactly the same way. In fact, I just came back, I gave a speech in Lakewood, New Jersey. In Lakewood, they had a piece of paper on the last days that you could bless the moon, and it said, you will be able to see the moon tonight from 9 o'clock till 3:30 will be the best hours if you need to do it. It will be there exactly. Tomorrow night you can only say Kiddush Levana up until 11 p.m. It was amazing. It was down to the moment, to the minute. Why? Because we say, Shelo yishanu et tafkidam. They don't change their purpose. They're there all the time. You go tomorrow morning, the sun's going to shine, be a beautiful day. The sun's going to give you heat and warmth. The sun's going to be beautiful. It's going to give solar energy for those that want to conserve. We know that we can make panels on our house and we can help the green and the ecology of the world. So many good things that the sun does for us. It's an amazing thing. The Shemesh, you can bank on it. Tomorrow morning that sun's going to be there. So what happens? It says, Sasim v'smeichim, they are happy and rejoice, lasot, to do ritzon, konam. They do the will of Hashem, so they're happy and they rejoice. Question is, what do you mean the moon rejoices? Did you ever see the moon in a bad mood? Did you ever see the moon frowning? Did you ever see some of the stars say, hey, how you doing? Smiling? No. So how do we know whether they're happy or whether they're sad? How do you know that they all rejoice to do the will of Hashem? So it's an amazing, amazing answer. And that answer is that as long as a person is happy in what they're doing, as long as they're happy, they don't think of anything bad. They don't think of any upset. They're happy. Whatever they do, they are b'simcha rabbah. They are never, ever sad. Why? Because they believe in what they're doing. Think about it. A person that likes doing what their work is, they'll be happy every day. A person that likes their school, they're happy. They can't wait. I saw a little girl came to me, and the little girl was so excited. In her parents' home was a simcha, and I came there. So she said, I'm so excited, I can't go to sleep. So could the Rabbi please give me a bracha to go to sleep? I said, okay. A lot of people ask me for that bracha, but let me tell you, why are you so excited? Listen what she said. Today, we learned Aleph, the first letter of the Aleph Bet. Tomorrow, we're learning Bet. And I can't wait. So it's hard for me to go to sleep because I got to learn the second letter. I said, I know, but what I'm afraid is if you don't go to sleep, you're going to sleep through the second letter. You will be there. You should try to sleep tonight. And I thought to myself, can you imagine the excitement to learn a letter? A bet? One part, one letter in the Aleph Bet, and she can't go to sleep. You know why? Because she's pure. Because she's pure. When we talk during Selichot, let's face it, guys, let's face it. When we go to Slichot, we ask for a lot of things. Hashem, I want a year. Hashem, help me. Hashem, I want big parnassah. I want a lot of money. Hashem, I want all the big things, right? So we ask for it in the zchut of everyone. Moshe Rabbeinu, Abraham, Yitzchak, right? Akedat, Yitzchak. We ask for everything. Daniel, Begov Areot, Daniel in the lion's den. We ask Ezra, all the tzaddikim, all the Noshim Tzidkaniot. You know what we do when we get to the very bottom? The last one, Aseh Leman Tinokot Shor Beit Rabban. Do it for the little children. Shelo chatu. They never sin. They never did anything wrong. They have innocence. They don't even know what corruption is all about. Aseh Leman Gemulei Chalav. The little babies, Shelo Pashu. They never transgressed. They never did a sin. We ask for it in their honor. Because they got excitement. They're inspired. They're happy. They know everything. You know, it's not any type of a secret that the children are so pure that sometimes you ask a child for a bracha and it means something. You ask a child, we're going to come to Purim not too long. Haman, who did he want to know what was happening in the neighborhood? He wanted to know what was happening in terms of the Jewish people. So he went to a child and he said, tell me, give me a pasuk. Haman, the Rasha, evil. Ask a little child on his way home, Satmar Chassid on the way home. Tell me a pasuk. The child said, Al tira mi pachad pitom. Don't be afraid anybody stands up against the Jewish world. Mishoat v'sha'im kitavo. Don't worry about that time when the Risha'im, when the evil seems to be good. Utzu eitzah v'tufar. They will say in eitzah, they'll make up a council, it'll be canceled. Dabru davar, they'll speak, v'lo yakum. It will not be fulfilled. Don't worry. When Haman heard this, he started shaking because he knew that nevuah, that prophecy comes from the mouth of children. Why they're excited? They know. The children understand the right thing. But when they get older, Nebuch, then they learn the wrong thing. Interesting thing. Cigarettes. I don't know if we have any smokers here tonight. Cigarettes, right? So, Lior, no smoking. When you smoke, right? No good. Do you know that people do not have a natural appetite to smoke? They don't. They see somebody else smoking, looks cool, or they want to imitate it, so they ask for a smoke. They smoke, they light up, and what happens? Usually, the first cigarette, I could tell you, the first cigarette, person throws up, they put the smoke in, they're not used to, they can't, right? Rachmanut. Same thing with Lashon Hara. The child never heard anything bad. Little boy, little girl, she don't want to hear Lashon Hara. She has no interest in hearing bad gossip. She has no interest in hearing something about another person. It's only once the person begins to smoke, then they develop a taste for it, and then they become addicted. Exactly. The same thing, Lashon Hara. The little child is not interested in Lashon Hara. The little child doesn't want to hear it. But after she or he is exposed to adults that are saying it, chas v'shalom, then they get appetite. Then they want to hear it. What'd you say about him? Wait, what did she do? Tell me. I got to hear this. No good. No good. The children are innocent. Maaseh shahaya. There was a very interesting incident that happened. There was a little girl, 5 years old. Her uncle was going to the Chafetz Chaim, and he had to watch her that day. So he told the little girl, we are going to a big tzaddik. We're going to somebody who's very big, and I'm going to take you with me. But you have to behave, you have to be very good. She's a good girl, she went. They went to the Chafetz Chaim. When the uncle was finished, he said, I got here my niece, right? Could you give her blessing? Could you give her bracha? Chafetz Chaim wasn't that kind, give brachot and this and that. Chafetz Chaim said, I can only tell you one thing. If she will always be careful in Shmirat HaLashon, not to say bad on other people, she will live a long life. That I promise. When that word went out from Chafetz Chaim, it was like fire. Everybody that heard it from that moment on was so careful. If someone was saying something not right and they saw her walking down the street, right away, end of conversation. People that would see her would check to make sure when she was walking that they were saying the right things, that the Lashon was clean language and everything was good. And so that little girl was careful. That little 5-year-old who got the bracha from Chafetz Chaim was careful. She lived 105 years in this world. That's innocence. That's inspiration. And so when a person is happy, they realize that they are going to be inspired because they're in the house of the King. We are all in the house of the King. We're all in the palace of the King. We can be happy. Hashem watches each and every one of us. We don't even realize it. How much Hashem cares for us, knows what we're going through, knows our pain, knows our upset, knows the things that we want in life. Hashem cares about us, but we don't realize it because we don't make Hashem in some ways real to us. Real feel. Interesting pasuk in Devarim. It says, Hein am levadod yishkon. Hein am levadod yishkon. We are a nation that dwells alone. Israel is a nation that dwells alone. We understand that. How many people stand up for Israel? How many people stand up for Eretz Yisrael? We realize that. We know. Just ask. Ask in the United Nations. They'll tell you all about it. So what happens? Hein am levadod yishkon. We are a nation that dwells alone. Chosam Lublin said, change the word. You can change it. There are a number of different meanings that you can. Am, change it to im. Hein im levadod yishkon. That Hashem dwells, lives with the people that are lonely, lives the people that are forlorn, lives with the people that are upset, lives and dwells together with people that need chizuk. When Hashem sees that somebody needs chizuk, when someone is alone, Hashem goes, puts his arm around them, Hein im levadod yishkon, and says, I am here to give you comfort. I am here to give you chizuk, to give you strength. So we see that just like the moon does the work every day, and the stars do the work every day. Why? Because they realize that they are in Hashem's world, and Hashem gave them a special purpose in this world. So you and I, we also share in that very special time. So I've got to be happy. I'm here on a special shlichut. I'm here on a special mission. A mission to do a mitzvah. A mission to help another person. A mission, sometimes a person calls you up and they're just complaining and you don't want to talk with them. You want to get them off the phone. But it's a mitzvah. Because when you're listening to them, you have an unbelievable zechut. That every moment, when you got that moment to listen, you give them chizuk. Another mitzvah that you have, interesting, mother, father. to try as much as a person can and give chizuk to mother and father, to write them, to call them, to be mechabed them, to honor them, is tremendous. It's an inspiration. We don't realize it. We see a mother and father, what are they going to ask me for now? I can't believe it. It's always me. Don't I have any brothers or sisters that could do the work? They call me every time. It's a zchut when a person is called. It was an old man, used to live across the street from the shul years ago. The old man, I just remember, the guy was over 100, I don't know how long, a really old man. He used to have a home care worker, used to bring him to the shul all the time, used to bring him across, right? And when he would come to see us, so he would always ask for a smoke. Guy's 100 and who knows what, he wasn't allowed to smoke, right? So we couldn't give it, he used to beg, and he knew we didn't give it, but every day ask him. One day, the guy didn't come back for him on time, the healthcare worker. So we were there. Somebody asked him a question like it says in the Gemara, Bameh arachta yamav. How did you live so long? How are you zocheh? You know what he said? My father was a mohel. My father used to be a big mohel. And he was older. It was difficult for him to carry his suitcase with the things that he needed for the Brit Milah. I never let him go by himself. Whenever he had to go to a different city by himself, or he had to travel, he had to walk, I made sure always to hold his bag and to make sure to hold him by the arm that he should be able to go. So he said to us, you think that I'm zochet to be so old for nothing? It's because I gave great honor to my father, to my mother. This, of course, is one example. Another example that I would like to bring up, and is a very special thing, is the mitzvah of tefillin. I want to mention that in particular. Tefillin is one of those mitzvot that it says that a person that wears one-time tefillin in their life is altogether on a different level. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev says, in the halacha, it always says tefillin sheberosh, not shalrosh, not on top of the head, but sheberosh. He says in that way, everyone wears tefillin. Men, women, everybody. Because the main ideas are that a person should keep the idea of the tefillin in their head. A fascinating thing happened. I just want to say that there's a lot about it. In the Torah, if you had to make an oath, to make a shavua, to swear. So, you'd have to take a Sefer Torah, hold it, and then say the oath, say the promise, whatever it was. If they didn't have Torah, they would take a pair of tefillin. You could use the tefillin as well. Maaseh Shaya happened in the time of the Holocaust. They had only the tefillin shel yad, not the tefillin shel rosh. Two parts to the tefillin, for the head, for the arm. They had only the tefillin for the hand. Somehow, it made it in to the death camp, concentration camp. Maaseh Shaya. People under the threat, if a Nazi would catch them, in 1 second they'd be killed. To be meniach tefillin, to wrap the straps around the ritzuot, 1 second they'd be killed. No question. Do you think the people cared? They didn't care. It's a mitzvah. It's my life. I'm inspired. If I die for the mitzvah, I die. Many thought like that. They didn't even have the whole pair of tefillin, just the arm. That's the only thing they had. I won't talk about whether it was kosher lemahedrin or kosher or kosher at all. It was a tefillin. All of a sudden, the last guy, everybody else in the line put on the tefillin. The last guy put on the tefillin. Everybody left. He put it on very quickly. Just as he finished, he put his hand over his head to say, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Soon he finished Echad, took down his hand. A Nazi standing right there. glaring. You want to see eyes of evil? Eyes of reshut? Eyes of wickedness? That was it. He sees him with the tefillin. First, he rips them off, puts them on the floor, has with the big Nazi boots, Yemach Shemo Zichron Le'ol Me'ad Mitachat Shemei HaShamayim, starts stamping. With his feet, he smashed the tefillin, not a zecher left. He was so angry at this Jew to do a mitzvah, to do tefillin. He couldn't calm himself down. He took him, with the tattoo? They tattooed everybody to put the number on the arm. He took him to where they tattoo, and he said, "Come here!" He took him, he made a cross in the place where he put the tefillin. Put a cross. That was it. Tattooed. And he made sure it was on there, but good. Terrible. No tefillin, no mitzvah. The Jew that was willing to give up his life is walking around ashamed. He survived the war. The Jew with the cross on the arm. There is halakha. Just bear with me for a second. The tefillin has to be on the skin. It cannot have interruption. But this Jew was very embarrassed. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to have just a small cloth over the cross and then put the tefillin over the cloth so you couldn't see where the cross was. He put the cloth over there. He went to a great Rabbi Oshri, and he asked him, "Am I allowed to put the cloth? Because there's a cross there. So, am I allowed to do it?" Rabbi Oshri told him, "No cloth. The cross that you have on your arm is a sign for all the world, all the Jewish people, Avdil, all the non-Jews, to see that there was someone that was willing to give up his life for one mitzvah of anachat tefillin, of putting on the tefillin. Proudly take your sleeve, roll it down, make sure that everybody can see, proudly, your arm, to everybody, that they can see that cross, because it will be Kiddush Hashem for your entire life." And so the Jew, for the rest of his life, put on the tefillin in the place where there was a cross. That to me is something. That to me is the person, I really don't care. Do something for Hashem. When a person does that, that's unbelievable. That's inspiration. That's like, here, is it going to hurt me? Yeah. If I'm going to have to do this mitzvah, am I going to have to sacrifice a little bit? Yes. Am I going to have to leave home a little bit earlier? Yes. Am I going to have to leave the office Erev Shabbat a little bit earlier? Yes. Am I going to have to give up? Is someone going to make fun of me because I want to do a mitzvah? Yes. And if I give the money to tzedakah, is it going to be a little bit less at the end of the week for me? No. It will be the same amount. It'll be more. You'll get money. But you got to believe it. Hashem says, I'm waiting for the hakravah. I'm waiting to see which sacrifice you can make. I'm waiting to see what you're ready to hand over to me. That is an unbelievable thing that we don't realize it. That's the inspiration. That's how a person gets big. That's how a person is matzliach, is successful in this world. And whatever you want to be successful in, that's a price of success. Very interesting maaseh. There was Elisha Navi, great prophet Elisha. And Elisha was told that there is a woman, and the woman is going to have food for him and drink. So Elisha goes, and he tries to find, where is this woman that I'm going to be able to get food and to get drink from. Finally, he finds her. And he says, do you have water? She says, yes. And he says, I would like to have some of the water. She says, okay. Do you have food? I only have a little bit of flour. I have a son, and I have to give to him only a slice of bread from that flour and oil. I have no more, just enough for him, and that is the last thing I have before we die. That is what she told the Navi. The Navi said, Elisha said, I'm promising you, oil will not stop from your container. Flour will not stop from your pot. You will continue to have it until Hashem will bring in the bracha, and there will be plenty in the land. It will never, ever, ever be for you days of famine, days of hunger. He said, bring to me a piece of bread. You make it from the dough that you have. You said you have for one. Bring it to me. She went. She prepared it. She believed. She listened to the Navi. She's starving. Her son is starving. But the Navi said, bring it to me first. She gave him the bread. She gave him the oil. He ate it. Then she went back. Nisim v'niflaot, miracles. There was flour, there was oil, there was enough for her son, and it never stopped. All those days, she had a source of bracha. And so the commentaries ask the question, why didn't she take the first piece for herself? She got the bread. She had the promise already from the Navi. So why didn't she take the first piece, give it to her son, take it for her, and then the rest, give it out. Give it to the Navi. The answer is, it wouldn't have worked in reverse. First, Hashem wants to see, do you make hakrava? Do you make a korban? Are you willing to sacrifice for the mitzvah? Are you willing to have emunah where you're giving up your first piece and you don't have any else right now, you don't got any other, you give it over? Or are you not willing? Are you saying, first I'm going to take care of myself, then I'll take care of the Navi, the man of Hashem? No. That is the way that you and I have greatness in our lives, by never forgetting the lesson that you got to give up, that you got to understand that if you're not worried about anything, if you understand you're in the house of Hashem and you're the Beis HaMelech and you're happy because we are all Bnei Yisrael, Kulanu Echad, we are all one, Am Echad, and you realize that we have a destiny that's tied in and we are inextricably bound with each other, B'achdut. When we understand that, so we're all happy because we're all part of Am Yisrael and there's a bright, bright future for each and every one of us. One more small incident. Everybody knows Rabbi Chaim of Volozhin writes in the Sefer, Ein od milvado. If a person is ever in trouble, if a person is ever upset, if a person ever needs protection, they should say the words, Ein od milvado. Ein od milvado. None other than Hashem. It's from a pasuk, Ataret aladat. We have a pasuk in Devarim, Ki Hashem hu Elokim, Hashem is God. Ein od milvado. None other than Hashem. Only Hashem. When a person will say that, they can be saved from anything. And believe me, there was a young man who came back and a young woman. They gave to me 6 volumes from the Holy Land, from Eretz Yisrael. The Sefer is called Ein Od Milvado, 6 chalakim, 6 all different things that happen from people that said Ein Od Milvado. Keep it in your wallet, keep it in your bag, keep it on your sleeve. You have monogram, you put the fancy initials over there, right? So you just do, instead of the monogram, you put Ein Od Milvado, and every time you look at it, Ein Od Milvado. Imagine you do that. That's what you should do, because that will keep it in your mind, it protects you. So, Rabbi Hanina said that there was witchcraft in the times of the Talmud. There was witchcraft, kishuf. And people were afraid. There is a certain power to kishuf. There is a certain power to witchcraft. And there was a witch that came in, and she wanted to do something to the great tzaddik. She wanted to do something to Rabbi Hanina. So what happened was, how she would work is, she would take some dust from underneath the knee, she would take that dust, and through that, she would be able to cast a certain spell and do witchcraft. Rabbi Hanina knew. He understood when he saw that witch walking around exactly what she had in mind. So he said to her, listen, I want you to know, take whatever you want. You want the dust? I'll help you scoop it up so you can have it. You want to try? You will not be able to do one thing. You will not harm a hair on my head. Why? Einod milvado. I believe in Hashem, and you cannot hurt me. The witch tried and tried and tried. She was not matzliach. She could not do a thing to him whatsoever. This is the belief that we have. Only thing a person has to do is remember to be excited and to be inspired for Hashem. Just before we end, I got to share with you, and I say this over Le'iloi Nishmat, the great neshama of Rachamin ben Esther and Marusa bat Chevtzi, is special just to stand next to this picture. Special zechut. I can only imagine Rachamin, the great mercies, the greatness for everybody that is here. L'avdil min chaim l'chaim. What you bless everybody with and what you wish everybody from your place in Gan Eden. You should be a melitz yosher. You should be an intercessor for all of us. For dear mama. For Papa. For the whole family. For all the friends. For all the wonderful people that came here this evening. It's our unbelievable zchut to be here for you. May the family continue on. May chayil achoyil in good health and in happiness and only big smachot, l'orach yamim tovim. The great Rebbe of Apt, Rav Avraham Yeshua Heschel, called the Apta Rav, Apt, A-P-T, Apt. So, one night, he asked Hashem, I'm getting older, he said. I would like to know, up in Gan Eden, in the next world, who's going to be my neighbor? I want to know my neighbor. I want to know who's going to be. Now you know, that's an answer that a person usually doesn't get. But if somebody is a very, very big tzaddik or tzaddiket, they could be zochet to know the answer. They could be. So he says, in the dream, please Rabbi, please, don't ask that question, Hashem says. It's not a question that people should necessarily know. After Rav said, please, just tell me, who am I going to be next to? I want to know who is a neighbor. Hashem said, okay. The answer came back and said, you should go into the forest. There is a certain city that is located near the forest, and you're going to see, I'm going to give you a name. And the name is going to be of this person, it's going to be your neighbor. Immediately, the Apta Rav set out. He went to that city, where the city was near the forest. And he began asking a question about him. Could you tell me, who is this guy Moshe? Moshe? That simple fellow. Oh, he's big Talmid Chacham? I don't think he knows how to learn. I don't think he knows any Torah. Or is he big in mitzvot? Like, does he do a lot of big things for people? Maybe he does. Like maybe, Lamed Vav Tzaddik, hidden Tzaddik, but we don't know about it. Is he extra smart? Do people come and he gives eitzot? He gives them advice? No, we don't know anybody goes to him. He continued to ask and ask and ask, and finally, Apta Rav became a little bit upset. This is who I'm going to be next to in Gan Eden? I didn't do anything in my life that should put me in a little higher place. I'm going to be next to him. But still, he wanted to know who he was. So he began to look and look and look, and they said, you know what this guy does? I tell you, he cuts logs. He's strong. He cuts logs. And he's near the forest. That's where his work is. After Rav went, goes in the forest looking for him. Where's this Moshe? Finally, he finds Moshe. And he's watching him. He wants to know, what does Moshe do? Maybe there's some secret that he does. Mekubal, maybe Sadiq, maybe someone special. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the whole thing, he's watching him. Moshe puts down the log, and he begins shouting, Tameh, 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 impure. Tameh, and he starts to jump. Tameh, 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 Tameh. He's dancing, Tameh, Tameh, Tameh. After Rav thinks to himself, it's not bad enough that the guy doesn't know nothing, but he's also a little bit, nevach, off. He begins to get upset. After Rav can't believe it. Hashem, didn't I do anything my entire life? And this guy's there jumping. Tameh, 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 Tameh. He couldn't take it anymore. Abdurrah said, maybe there's something I don't understand. You never know. He went over to him and he says to him, Slicha Adoni, I hate to interrupt your whatever you're doing there, but I got to ask you a question. What is going on with the Tameh? So he says, I tell you the truth. My parents were really poor people. They could not afford to take me to a Jewish school. In fact, I couldn't get a Rabbi. And in fact, even when I had one, I couldn't learn anything. They tried to tell me Aleph Bet, they tried to tell me all different Torah. I couldn't learn anything. There's only one word that I was successful to understand, and it went into my head. There's only one thing that my ears were able to put in, and that is the word Tameh. That's the one Jewish word that I know in my entire life. Tameh. I couldn't understand anything else, but now I got it. So every day I dance to Hashem. I got to celebrate with whatever I can give to Hashem. I got one word, Hashem. So every day I come in the forest and I go, Tameh, Tameh, Tameh. After Rav hears it, sees that this guy, whatever he could give to Hashem, he gives. He's a Jew who's inspired. After Rav kisses him, hugs him, it says, this is unbelievable. This is unreal. He's about to leave and now he's happy. He's got somebody who's going to be next to, who's a Jew, who is on fire for Hashem. But he says, I got one thing I got to tell you though. Tameh does not have such a good connotation, not such a good meaning. Say instead, tahor, tahor, tahor. And he said it to him a number of times. Tahor means pure instead of tameh, impure, unclean. Okay? They thanked each other, they kissed each other, they hugged each other, and he left. He comes back to his city, goes to sleep, and they tell him in Shamayim, they got a great taina. There is a great complaint on the Rebbe of Apt, on the great Abdurrah Rav. What's the reason? Because this man could not understand the word tahor. He couldn't get it. He wasn't able to learn it. Because of that, he forgot the first word, tameh, and he don't do the dance anymore. In Shamayim, they miss it terribly. In Shamayim, this great avodah that used to give such a nachat to Hashem is not happening anymore. And because of that, Rebbe of Apt, you lost your Gan Eden. You don't got it. The great Rav of Apt goes back, finds him in the forest, spends hours and teaches him the word Tameh, 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 until finally he learns it and then resumed his dancing. Tameh, Tameh, Tameh. In this life, Hashem don't ask more than we can give. Hashem don't ask any of us to do more than we have capabilities to do. But we have the capabilities to do a lot. We can do a lot of mitzvot. We can learn a lot of Torah. We can give a lot to tzedakah. All of us have the power. If that one Jew could at least say Tameh, imagine what the good people here, gathered in this beautiful Beit Midrash, can do. We should all be zocheh to, in the future, big semachot, big yeshuot, big brachot, big refuot, parnasah mitzvah berevach, big shalom bayit. We should have the days already when they are filled with simcha, v'nas yagon v'anacha, and all upset and all sadness and all mourning should completely leave.